Hi everyone, it's Affy, and today I am going to be doing my January wrap up. I realize it is super late. I'm just, you know, reasons. I mean, life. So I'm sorry this has taken me so long, but I have six books here. I think six books that I read last month. And I'm pretty excited because two of them were from the Wildflowers series by Lisa Kleypas. So I'm excited to talk about those two. But I'm just going to hop in. The first book that I have here is Yours Until Dawn by Teresa Medeiros. And there's a cute little step back there. Okay, so this was a Beauty and the Beast retelling. There's also a caretaker scene in here, what I like to call damsel in distress when a woman needs to be saved in the book. It's also a little bit of a second chance and a class difference. So there's a lot going on in this book. Okay, so Samantha gets a job as a nurse for Gabriel, and he basically is like, I don't need a nurse. This is a waste of my time. What are you doing here? So he decides he's going to do whatever he can to get rid of her. But she's a bit tougher than, the usual nurse that he would come across. She's like, you're not going to fuck with me. Is nice try. So he can't get rid of her. And Gabriel is blind. He had an accident where he fell. I think he might have hit his head or something, and now he can't see. So her job is to come and help him learn how to manage life as a blind person. She teaches him how to use a walking stick. She helps teach him how to make his way around the house. There's a couple of other things she teaches him. I can't remember off the top of my head. But she's great for him. The only thing is, he's a grumpy little ass, and yeah, this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, so a little bit of grumpy sunshine going on. I really like this one. I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. So my notes on it, I thought that Gabriel kind of came out of it a better man at the end. He was definitely gruff and rough in the beginning. There is a twist to this story at the end that I thought was really good. Gosh, I want to tell it, but I can't. Anyways, I loved, there was a doggy in here, and I loved the dog. The dog helped save the day. It was super sweet. This was a good book, though. I really liked it. It was very well written, quite funny, too. I definitely laughed out loud quite a few times reading this. Teresa Medeiros is great. I have another book of hers that I'm going to be reading next month. I plan on reading Prince Charming, I believe, next month. So I'm looking forward to that because this was really, really fun. So check it out. Teresa Medeiros. Okay, so the second book that I read in January was Lisa Kleypas. It Happened One Autumn. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows this book in this step back because it's Lisa Kleypas and it's the Wildflowers. So in this book we have Lillian, who is Lillian Bowman, and she is the daughter of, she's an heiress basically. She's an American heiress. And then our hero is Marcus. He's the Lord or the Earl of Westcliff, so they call him Westcliff mostly. In this book, we have Lillian and Westcliff, who do not like each other. In the first book, Secrets of a Summer Night, they were not kind to one another. They did not like each other. Westcliff thinks that Lillian is wild and loose, and she thinks that he is just a buttoned up, boring man. He's stuffy and he's British, and she doesn't like that about him. So this is obviously an enemies to lovers. I was pretty excited going into it after having seen them in the first book. I thought this was going to be just amazing. I will say I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I did like it a lot, but I had some issues with it. And if you have read the original of this book and not the redone, renewed version, this is the original, and so there are parts of this book that I did not agree with. I'm not going to say what exactly. But Westcliff does, he does something that's kind of not. Westcliff does something that I don't particularly like. There's a little bit of dubious consent going on, which isn't great. So I ended up giving the book a 4 out of 5 star because of that. It bothered me. Outside of that, I love this book. So, unfortunately, I wanted more out of the banter, but it was still really good. And I like Lillian. She's not my favorite of the Wildflowers. She was in the beginning. And then I read her book and I was like, she's a bit much. And then I read her sister's book and I was like, okay, she's really a bit much. So I don't know that she's my favorite, but I do still love her. She's a fun character. And I feel like she and Westcliff really kind of put each other through their paces. By the end of it, they felt like they were perfect for each other, if that makes any sense, even though they're so different. I feel like she made him be a little bit bolder and a little less stuffy. And that was good for him because he needed that. But Westcliff is amazing. I love Westcliff. I would say he's my favorite character in all of the Wallflower series. He's amazing. I'm just not happy with that one little detail of the book. But this was good. I would have given it a 5 out of 5 stars, but because I had that one issue, I gave it a 4 out of 5. But I really like this as far as the Wallflower series goes. So yeah, this one was good too. Okay, so the next book that I read in the month of January, I followed it up with It Happened One Autumn, and that is Devil in Winter. Evie and St. Vincent. Look at that beautiful couple. He's got blonde hair and she's got red hair. That is not common, I feel like. Anyways, this book, I loved it, but I do have an issue. So I'll explain the book first. We have Evie, who is one of the Wallflowers. She's super sweet, she's kind, she's quiet, she stutters. It's not too bad though, but she does have a little bit of a stutter. And she's very shy. She's probably the shyest of all of the Wallflowers. And she has a horrible family. They are mistreating her. They want to marry her off to her cousin. And she's like, there's no way in hell I am going to marry my cousin. I swear they might try to kill me. Like, she's scared for her life. So, if you've read the second book, It Happened One Autumn, St. Vincent is in that book, and he's kind of a bad guy. But in this book, my first note when I finished this book was, bad guy where? Because Sebastian St. Vincent was the sweetest man alive. I don't know how he could go from being the bad guy he was in the last book to being as sweet as it happened so suddenly. You're reading the book and you're like, oh, he's a horrible guy. And then you get to the end of it and it's like, he's amazing. Like, I don't know how she did it, but I just slowly fell for him. And it drove me mad because by the end of the book, I was like, I did not expect to like him. I was pleasantly pleased. So this is a marriage of convenience between a rake and a wallflower. So he's a rake, of course. Um, One of my notes that I wrote was that Sebastian was quietly, kind, attentive, loyal, and compassionate. And those are not things I expected to say about him by the time I got to his book. Um, I definitely did not think he would come out on top. And I get why people love this book now. I get why people love St. Vincent. I don't know if he's my favorite of all the Wallflower heroes yet. I really like Simon from the first book too. So I'm not going to say he's my favorite yet. But he was pretty amazing. I mean, just the attentiveness to her needs and caring about her in a way that nobody had cared about her before because her family was horrible. They treated her horribly. And she was scared for her life at one point. I mean, there's like a bad guy trying to kill her. It's just crazy. So this is a good book. I really thoroughly like this. I ended up giving this one a 5 stars. My issue with the book, though, and this is probably just me because I'm a weirdo, I felt claustrophobic reading this book. And the reason I say that is because they were in the gaming hell the entire book. They drove to Gretna Green, they came back from Gretna Green, and then they're in a gaming den, gaming hell, whatever they call those places back then, a casino, for pretty much the remainder of the book. And I felt claustrophobic. I felt like they needed to get out of there to get some fresh air. I think she gets out once into like the alley of the building, and that's it. And there's like, they're just in the. I felt claustrophobic. I just wanted them to be able to step outside and go anywhere else. It really bothered me. So yeah, my issue, my problem, my concern. I'm pretty sure nobody else has that problem with this book, but I had a problem with it. I really wanted them to get the fuck out of that gaming hell and just go anywhere else. Anywhere else. Other than that, though, this book is amazing. So 5 out of 5. Okay, so the next book I read was Jennifer Ashley, The Many Sins of Lord Cameron. And this is the 3rd book in the Mackenzies and McBrides series. So this book is about Ainsley and Cameron, or Cam Mackenzie as they call him. He's just called Cam by the family. Ainsley happens to be a spy for the Queen, and she has been sent to steal something from the Mackenzie home. And she and Cam have come across each other before. In fact, it's not the first time she has stolen into his house and into his room to spy and to steal things. So he sees her again, the second time that she's trying to steal from him. And the first time he had kissed her. So she remembers that kiss, and she sees him again, and he's like, wait a minute, I know you. I remember you. And instead of being mad, he lets her go again, and they end up meeting a 3rd time. And I believe she goes for a country stay. I don't remember 100%, but he gets to the point where he's just like mad for this woman, and he's begging her to stop working for the Queen. He's like, please marry me so you don't have to work for the Queen. It's a really cute book. This one I ended up giving 3.5 stars. I didn't love it. Compared to the first 2 books, this one was just okay for me. I still liked it, but Cam just didn't feel as he didn't feel as gripping of a character as the other two couples. I liked Ainsley as well, but I wouldn't say she's a character that I really paid much attention to, and that might be why this book didn't really do it for me. While I like the two characters, I wasn't in love with them. They were just kind of okay. But this book was pretty good. Ainsley was a sleuth. She kept getting caught though, so I don't know that she was very good at her job. Um, I really love seeing the rest of the family in here, seeing Ian again, seeing Mac and Isabella. It's always nice to see the family elements in this series because they are such a cool family. So I really liked seeing the rest of the family in the book. But this one was good. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Looking forward to the next one, which is, I believe, The Duke's Perfect Wife, if I'm correct. So I'm looking forward to that one next. I might read that next month. But yeah, this one is a good one too. So the next book I read was The Rogue of Fifth Avenue. This is by Joanna Shupe. I really like that cover. It's so blue and pretty. Okay, so this is a mutual pining story that turns into a secret relationship. We have an American in here as well, and he's a self-made man. His name is Frank Tripp. Frank Tripp, you can just tell that's a very American name. Frank Tripp. And Mammy, or Mamie, but I think her name is Mammy. The first thing I noticed about this book was that while they liked each other, they did not like the fact that they liked each other. So he is her family lawyer, and she keeps slipping out at night to go save people in the poorer side of the city. And she's a young woman. She's doing this late at night, and he knows she's doing this, so he's kind of following her and trying to keep an eye on her, protect her, make sure she's okay. But obviously she doesn't want that. She's upset, like, just leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. And he's like, no, you're a woman. It's London. It's nighttime. You're in the dodgy part of town. You can't just keep doing this. And so he threatens to tell her family, and she's like, you're not going to tell my family. And so instead, it turns into a secret relationship. This one was fun. I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars as well. Again, didn't love it, but it was still good. Once they kind of start falling for each other, things got kind of, I don't know, it didn't really, it wasn't super romantic to me, if that makes any sense. It felt like a lot of it was about kind of the backstories of her running around town trying to save everyone. So I didn't get as romantic of a vibe from this book, which is part of why I gave it a 3.5 stars. But he was definitely smitten with her. He was a simp for her, so that was fun to read about. But yeah, 3 out of 5. This was my first Joanna Shupe book as well, so I'm going to continue. Either I'm going to continue this series or start another one of her series. I don't remember which book I grabbed, but I will figure it out. So, the last book I read for this month is by Kat Martin, and that is Nothing But Velvet. Sorry about that. So this is a marriage of convenience with an outlaw who is a non-titled man. There is also some captor-captive in here. This book is a lot. This book had a lot going on. I feel like that might just be Kat Martin's thing. Her books tend to just be very plot heavy, and while that's okay, I want there to still be a good romance in the book, and I don't feel like this had very strong romance. So we have Jason Sinclair and Velvet, who is our heroine. And Jason is an outlaw. He's on the run because he has been accused of killing his father, I believe. It's not him, it's actually his brother that has done it. And so he decides that he is going to kidnap his brother's fiance. And his brother is starting to go broke. He's starting to go bankrupt. And so he's freaking out about life and having money and how he's going to get money. So he wants to marry this woman to get her finances. And his brother's like, I'm not going to let that happen. You took my life away from me, and I'm going to make sure that you don't get this money. So he kidnaps her, and there's some captive, and it gets a little steamy. It gets good. But then he lets her go, and things get interesting, especially them trying to figure out how to clear his name. I was very intrigued by that part of the book, but then upset and pissed off at the end because they dragged it out so long that it was literally not until the last 2 pages that you figure out how he's going to get off. The last 2 pages, you don't even get to see their wedding. So I was very pissed off about that. Some of my other notes on it were that he seemed a bit too focused on sex. I didn't get a lot of vibes of like him wanting her for her and her personality and stuff. It was just kind of like, oh, she's hot, and I want to get in them jeans or dress. Sorry, I want to get in that dress. They didn't wear jeans back then. But yeah, he was a bit of a gruff character, and there was also a lot of characters in this book. They had a viewpoint from his brother, the viewpoint from another couple that ends up getting together by the end of the book. There was just a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie, I did like it, but there was a lot of issues with the book. So I don't know that this is one I would highly recommend, but I did enjoy myself. It wasn't like a 2-star read. But yeah, nothing but Velvet. So those are all the books I read for January. If you want to chat about any of them, leave some comments down below. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. Leave me like a yellow heart emoji in the comment section if you made it this far. But otherwise, thank you for being here, and I will be back with another video. Bye.